Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have this really fun butterfly art journal to share with you, so let's jump right in. So I am going to be creating with the Stamperia A5 size journal. This has stone paper in it, and if you guys have been with me for a little while, you'll know that I've been tossing around starting an art journal for quite a while. I've talked about it, I've hemmed and hawed, and I finally took the plunge and decided that that is what I'm going to do today. So I have a couple of these really cool collage books. They're by, I don't know if I'm going to say this correct, Marimi Art. She has a YouTube channel as well. She's been creating these really cool collage books. And I have a few of them now. So I decided to bust out the Whispers of Winter Essentials background. And I pulled out this paper because I thought it was just a really fun textural piece. You know, it has some lace on the bottom. It has like a music sheet in the middle. And then on the top, I think it has a little bit of ribbon. At least I assume that's what it is. It's a background, so it just has some interesting color and texture, and I thought that was a really fun. And keep in mind, you guys, I have created like one art journal spread in my day, so I'm kind of coming in with inspiration mostly from Vicky, because you guys know Vicky Papineau is like a huge inspiration for me. So inspiration from her, inspiration from Marta, who is the one who actually makes these books. You know, that's just kind of where I'm pulling this inspiration from. It's not specifically to any project they've made. It's just going to be techniques that I've seen them do over time. And I'm just really excited about it. So I also have this book. It's the Butterflies Volume 1 from her collage collection, the Marimi Small Art, I believe is her YouTube channel. I'll have all this stuff listed down below as always. If you're interested, you can go and check it out. If this volume 1 isn't still available, there are other volumes. I'll link whatever I can find. And I'm just kind of slowly flipping through so you can see how beautiful these are inside here. And there's lots of different colors as well. So me being me, I'm going to go back to my comfort zone. So I've kind of picked out a like really rainbow colored butterfly for my biggest focal. And now I'm going through and I'm just trying to find two butterflies that are smaller than that rainbowy butterfly and that are more neutral in color. I don't want them to steal the show from my very, rainbowy colored butterfly, but it's hard because all of these are stunning. Like, you guys know how much I love butterflies. This cannot be a shock to anybody at all because I love them. And I think it's really fun that she has such different colors. I think there's even the one I just cut. This is a butterfly book, but honestly, I think the one I just cut is a moth. But who cares? They're stunning. So I'm going to just kind of flip through. I'm trying to find one that's, similarly sized to the littler one I just cut. And again, it's, more neutral in color palette just because I thought that would be really fun. So of course I want the furthest inside one in the second row right here. I'm going to pull it out in a second because it's kind of the closest to what I'm aiming for. And I just had a lot of fun. So you guys will have to tell me your thoughts. Do you like art journaling? Is that something you're interested in? Minnie had to come and join me. This is Aqua. I call her Minnie because she's the smallest of my kitties at this moment. I needed her to move though because I didn't want to accidentally snip her hair or anything while I was cutting this out. And I am using the spring-loaded Tim Holtz scissors. This is the medium size. I actually own the medium and the large because you guys know, if you've been with me for any length of time, I enjoy fussy cutting. I find it quite peaceful. So I got the spring-loaded scissors for that because I find it easier on the wrist if you do a lot of fussy cutting, which I do. And I'm going to show you an example of that here. So I am going to fussy cut all three butterflies. I'm only going to show you the first one because I think you get the idea. But I hold the scissors stable in my dominant hand, which happens to be my right hand. And then I use my left hand to actually rotate the image. My scissors don't move. I mean, they're opening and closing as I cut, of course, but they don't shift position. My left hand moves the image as I cut. And I do like to cut excess paper off so that I'm not fighting it as my scissors are going around the image. And please forgive Minnie. She's just helping me out. She's going to make sure that this image in this art journal is successful. So she's going to pop in and out a few times throughout this video. And I leave that in because I know you guys enjoy seeing my kitties. So she was quite helpful. They do usually sleep on the desk just above my recording area, so you don't always see them, but they're pretty much always there through almost every video. But you can see here, I'm going to cut the antenna off. I did think that I would just draw them back in with a pen later. But because this is going to be a very mixed media project, I opted not to, just because I end up putting a piece of cheesecloth under my butterflies as just kind of a fun place for them to sit. So I opted not to redraw the antenna. You could fussy cut them if that's your, jam. I generally don't stick with the fiddly bits. Unless I'm kind of cutting them as if they're a sticker, like I'm leaving a white outline around them. But I didn't feel like these guys needed it because I'm going for such a neutral background that I really wanted the butterfly to stick out. So I felt like it didn't need a white outline to stand out on its own. So I didn't leave one for this, but you absolutely can if that makes it easier. Well, it does make it easier. But so I'm just cutting around the butterfly, and I'm going to cut the other two off screen the exact same way. But first we're going to add some paste so I can let it dry while I fussy cut the other ones off screen here in a second. So I busted out one of probably my favorite stencils. It's from Tim Holtz. It is the Sparkle Fade layering stencil. All of his are called layering stencils just because you layer techniques on top of each other. So I'm going to bust that out. Oh no, I lied to you. I'm going to stamp some texture first. I brought out the Field Notes stamp set. This is also Tim Holtz stamp set. And this is probably one of my favorites. This little label piece here, I'm going to stamp it in random places across the background. This is mixed media. I'm not trying to be tidy. I'm not trying to, I'm having a play. I want my art journal to be kind of like a learning experience, a growing experience. It's just, something you can bust out materials that you normally wouldn't in card making necessarily. Like, I've had these fun collage books, and I'm not saying you couldn't use those for card making. You 100% can. I just don't reach for them for some reason. It's like they don't occur to me in my mind at the time, so I just don't bust them out and use them, which is silly because they're stunning, but it is what it is. So I thought it'd be really fun to just use different stuff in this book. And that's going to be my art journaling. I think it's going to be a really fun experience for me. It's going to be very challenging. It's going to use different techniques and stuff I want to try. And sometimes it might not be pretty. They might turn out kind of funny looking, and I'm okay with it. It's one of those things, right, where when you learn, not everything you touch is gold. And that's something I have to remind myself of because it sometimes discourages me from creating, which is sad because not everything you make is going to be perfect, and that's okay. Perfectly okay. So it's one of those things you have to keep in mind, right? So I did bring in the Sparkle Fade stencil, as you just saw, and I put through my sparkle paste. Yeah, it's the texture paste sparkle. It's clear, but it has shimmery bits of sparkle in it. It's one of the Tim Holtz pastes, and I just thought that would be a fun thing to add to the background. You could go for an opaque paste instead. I didn't. I just used that because I thought it would be really fun, and then here you can see how shiny it is on the background. Really, really pretty. And I have fussy cut all my butterflies, so then I was getting impatient and heated my paste a little bit just to get it to dry so I could move on. I like to do my whole project in a sitting if I can. Not bigger projects, but like an art journal page. I want to do it start to finish. And sometimes it takes me, many, many hours to do a project. Just depends on what I'm working on. So I went in with just a little bit of picket fence paint. This was just to tone back the black in the background a little bit. I didn't want it to steal the show from the butterfly. And keep in mind, I don't really know where I'm going with this yet. I'm just kind of playing with techniques that I enjoy, and then we'll go from there. So some of that dry brushing you just saw with the white paint, you're not even going to see it because it's going to be behind this piece of cheesecloth. But I don't know that until I get there, So it's one of those things where it's a learning experience. I'm kind of busting out techniques I think are fun or that I wanted to try or that I'm interested in. And then I go from there with creating something that, is a fun spread. So I did cut out just this piece of cheesecloth, and now I'm kind of trying to make it a bit thready. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm trying to dishevel it a little bit so that I get a little more texture and interest from it. And I've kind of laid out my butterflies where I want them throughout the spread, but I want to stick this piece of cheesecloth down first. And I'm adding wrinkles and bends and folds because I think it's a fun. And when my glue dries, you won't be able to see the glue anyway, but this gives me a little bit of added texture because I haven't glued it down completely, as I'm going to do with the butterflies and with the piece of paper in the background. background, I wasn't sure if I maybe wanted to tuck something under it or around it. So I didn't glue all the way up to the edge. I left that kind of bare and available if that was something I decided I wanted to, you know, add to later. I don't end up doing that, but it does give me a little bit of interest in movement. So that's kind of a fun technique to just give yourself a little bit of more texture and interest. Now with the butterfly on the top, I should have shifted it over just a touch because it is in the way of the cover. Now I've gotten by that by tucking it down before I close the book, but I might have to just gently trim it down a little bit so that the cover can close without catching it, because otherwise it'll just bend it and it's going to look funny. But this is kind of the best option I had for what I was working with at the time. Now for the center butterfly, I am going to add some thin 3D foam squares. This is because I don't want the wings to pop down, like to be flat after I've closed the book several times, because it is the front page, right? So you know I'm going to open and close this several times. And so I thought it was easy because this would still give those wings some something to help keep them up, whereas the other wings are just kind of sitting there like that. So they will over time flatten, and that's okay. Like it's just to be beautiful and to look at, and for me to play with techniques, and for me to have kind of a safe space to play with different things that maybe I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, and this one turned out stunning, but who knows what future ones are going to turn out to be. You know, I don't know until we get there and we make it. So I did have to add a little bit of white splatter just because I love that. You could skip this step if splatter's not your thing, but I love texture and dimension. It's one of those things. It brings something more to life. It just makes it feel, I don't know, more alive, which is kind of funny. But that's just how it feels to me. So that's what I kind of lean towards. And then for my little, it's a sentiment kind of, not really. This is the Tim Holtz clipping sticker book. This book is old. I don't even think you can get it anymore. It wouldn't even stick. Like you see here, I like figured out where I wanted it to sit. It didn't even stick there. So I had to pull it back up and add a little glue to the back so that I could get it to stay in the journal. And I think it's fun to add words. This is a very Vicky Papineau thing to do. She adds quotes or stuff on all of her pages, and I think that's kind of fun. So this actually says that shine and shimmer, which I thought was really fitting because I'm going to add these beautiful Nuvo glitter drops. I have not busted out any of my Nuvo glitter or drops or any of that in so long. I wasn't even sure if they were going to still work. So I was really lucky that they all seem to still be functioning and working perfectly. And of course you can see Aqua, she's sitting up in the corner there watching. Luckily she did not stick her foot in the drops as I was trying to put them down, but you know, it's one of those things, if you have pets and they hang out with you, it is always a possibility, because what do you do? So I did kind of place these all over the wings of the butterfly, just kind of in specific areas, really, just in areas kind of that had dots already on the wings. And then this is the Nuvo Glitter Drops Silver Crystal. If it is still available, I will have it linked and listed for you. If it's not, I'll try to find you something similar, as I always try to do the best that I can. And then to help the sentiment stand out a little bit, or the quote, whatever you want to call it, I did go around it in just a little bit of black pen just to give it a little bit of something extra. It does have kind of a texture to the top, so the pen didn't really grab real well, but honestly I wanted it to be a bit skippy, so it worked out okay. But yeah, so that's kind of my first dive into art journaling. I would love to know what you guys think. I love it. I think it turned out stunning, but you guys need to tell me your thoughts, because you know I always want to hear what you were thinking. And of course, once those drops dried, they are not as opaque as they are here. Like, they're quite clear. So it was quite fun to bust out stuff I haven't used in a while. So that is the video I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm getting really close to 15,000. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. And thank you so much to my members. I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.